Hey YouTube, we are going to continue this week looking at some of the region's up-and-coming players, and this time it is going to be the 16-year-old Danish player, Nico. It is going to be Nico playing alongside Trebla here against Zen and Nupo, and I'm not going to lie to you, this was a Trebla legacy game. It's a good game from Nico. I just think it's a good game to show, you know, the level at which these guys are playing at, considering I think you guys know the level of the opponents in this game, Nupo and Zen. But it's not a bad game from Nico either. It just happens to be a legacy game for Trebla. And then we're going to have another game of Nico versus Nupo in, actually I think it's Nupo and TRK in game number 2. Now, if you guys don't know about Nico, he's actually recently been picked up by an organization, BDS, who, you know, won the last World Championship and then promptly had their team dissolve in their hands and leave as Trebla gets a nice catch and goal. Did not want to leave Rocket League forever and has decided to join back up with Nico's team, Nico, Matt, and Juke, as they have had a bit of struggles when it comes to RLCS 3v3. So, you know, I don't know what to necessarily expect from these guys going forward, as they have, you know, not had bad results or terrible results necessarily, but EU is tough and they have missed a main event now. I think they got maybe tied for, you know, 12th or 14th through 16th, whatever that 13th through 16th, whatever that last place once you make the regional is, their first time around, I think is what they got in the open before. So definitely not going to see seeing these guys at majors anytime soon, but I do think we're going to see Nico for a long time, because again, we are talking about a 16-year-old player, and that is something that we have followed for a long time. Young players who have gotten good and seem to only ever get better, as Trebla is going to pass this one over to Nico. Actually, nice read after Nico missed off the post. Had to get a pretty tough pre-flip follow-up where you guys got around the ball, and he did exactly that in order to tie it up 3-3 here, as Zen going to try and make something happen. Nico will intercept and now take over with 7 boosts to work with. Nico is actually a bit of a 1v1er as well. I know that I would love to, if possible, show 1v1 games between these players when I want to, you know, highlight how they play, because I think that's kind of the mode we all enjoy the most. But it's much harder to find replays, especially if Nico's not uploading them himself. So definitely much more available, you know, spicy 2v2 replays, and in this case, it's actually courtesy of Trebla. So shout out Trebla, who ended up uploading this one, and I think it's whoever's Nico's teammate is in the next one, Swaz, for uploading that one. Is Trebla going to make another save? Like I said, legacy game here for Trebla, as Zen, or sorry, not Zen, Nico forced Zen high, and that was a lame follow-up. Trebla is going straight into it, high speed, to just long shot it. Nico with 0 is now going to be forced to play defense all by himself. Zen going for a high double, and Nico attempted to cut it off. Didn't quite succeed. Trebla launched it up to Nico, and that's just got to be a miss, right? I mean, I don't know why you'd fake it there. It seems like a decent chance on net, as Zen, again, is maybe forced high by Nico, as Trebla makes another save and another save. Like I said, legacy game for Trebla here. Absolute legacy game for Trebla, but not a bad one from Nico, who makes another save. Nupo diving in. Classic Nupo. And now Nico able to run it out with nobody there to stop him, and when somebody does show up, he's going to delete him and make it an easy tap in for Mr. Trebla. Nico hovering in midfield, easy shot opportunity on the follow-up. I think Nupo, I have to go back and watch it again, but he is such a really close cheater, all-in kind of guy. Maybe didn't make contact and left it available for Nico, who this time around has Zen matching him on the other side, but does still get the win. Doesn't go for the tight angle shot. Instead, is going to pop it up and float behind the ball. Surely he is expecting Trebla to take it over, which Trebla does, and then Trebla gets 2. What a save by Zen to get back in front of the net. Or was that Nupo? Either way, impeccable save on what felt like a good opportunity for Nico, who needed to have a little bit more faith in Trebla, because Trebla got a massive win. You can see the way Nico was rotating to the back wall. He was expecting a loss. That's not what happened, as Trebla's going to die. Nico going to be left alone. Thought about the reverse challenge, ultimately decided to wait it out, and that's the right decision, as Nupo is nowhere to be found. Fortunately, if you're a fan of Nupo and Zen, Zen makes his way back, so it's not the freest of nets. But a 6-3 lead here for Nico and Trebla, as Nico is going to catch a demo. Wow, went all the way to ceiling height. Not often do you pickup demos when you chase down for that long. But Nico does manage to get one, and can Trebla redirect this? Zen and Nupo are in the same spot. He teed it up, but Nico maybe had the read that it was going straight down, so he decided not to go for it. Zen and Nupo are just... It seems like Zen has almost tried to pick up Nupo's playstyle here in this game. Both of them going so fast, just booming the ball around the field. I think they queued this up together. Yeah, and so did Trebla and Nico. As Nico is going to read this Spanish kickoff and then 50 and leave it open for Trebla to make it 7-4. And I believe with 1:03 left to go, Zen and Nupo have had enough. So let's head to game number 2. For game number 2, we have got Nico and Swaz this time versus TRK and Nupo. So we'll see how he plays alongside Swaz as he currently waits and watches TRK before eventually dying. And then TRK is able to get a follow-up. Interesting, the goal explosion is at center field. I don't know if that's a bug with some of the replays. They recently pushed an update that fixed watching old replays, which, you know, was at least partially responsible for a window of time where we had no videos on the channel. It's usually how we go through and, you know, fill up some empty space when we can't find show matches or RLCS. And we couldn't do that up until a couple days ago. And that's enabled us to make some nice videos like this one. TRK gonna put one on target as Nico makes the save only after the ball gets partially into the net. And I'm actually surprised he went for this one. I thought for sure he's gonna end up backing off, but TRK is the one to back off as Nico taps it over to him, and it seems like Nico very willing to throw the early challenge, leave it easy for his teammates. Maybe not a lot of glory in going forward yourself, but a better result for your team as Nico waits up on the side wall and intercepts this one. That is a miss off the crossbar and a follow-up from Nico to put them on the board. Tie game. As now Nico will head on the kickoff. Did he actually just squeeze it past? He did. He's going to pre-flip too. We've seen a couple nice pre-flips from Nico. Quick reads as he's going to punish their poor kickoff and make it 2-1. Swaz going to lose this one into the orange half, so Nico going to have to defend against a TRK attack here as TRK goes really high and actually pitched it back in. Very interesting play. Nupo, I mean, this is just what you get with Nupo. It's so funny how, you know, you watch from opponent's POV and sometimes it's like, oh, man, who is that crazy ball chaser who doesn't know what he's doing? He just dove in like crazy. But at the same time, you know, that's the same guy who drops 6 goals on your head every other game you play against him. So Nupo backing off, going to the midfield and attacking by himself. Swaz forces him to go high, and then Nico actually maybe missing a clear, and it will be a shot. I think there was an opportunity there from Nico to maybe prevent a goal, but for now it's going to be 3-2 at 3:22. Swaz from the ceiling, heavy touch, but Nico is never going to think about going in there to try and play off of it. He elects to just wait it out as Nupo will boom one the length of the field. Nico trying to control it, but the TRK challenge. TRK attempting the back pass, but Nico will actually be there to intercept it and take the back pass. And now a team bump, it seemed, from Nupo and TRK. As Swaz going to have his setup intercepted. Heavy first touch from Nico. Did not try and catch it. Instead, just slammed it into the corner. Feels like it could be, you know, a tough position to actually make a play happen from, but it looks like he's maybe done just that after beating TRK. And then Nupo, wow, what a snipe of a pass. Nupo just rocketing a pass to the opposite corner where he knew TRK would be. And Nico, can he go in and out to make the save? Oh my goodness, dude. TRK and Nupo going crazy to tie this one up. 3-3, just over halftime. As Swaz will go to the ball, and it's going to be a pool shot. Yeah, I could tell Nico was going to go for a pool shot kickoff in an attempt to try and score. Didn't work out, so we remain tied as Swaz hasn't had a ton of success trying to attack solo through the air. I don't think Nico necessarily has either, maybe until right now, but nice save as Nico will single jump over the top of a Swaz boost pickup so that he doesn't bump into his teammate. And he'll be forced to probably defend Nupo here by himself. Looked like he tried to go for the bump, and then his teammate dies, and that's going to sit on the goal line for free. Tough situation to try and defend against Nupo. And this time he does not succeed. Intentional kickoff loss. I'm actually going to check and see. Did they must have just quick chatted that. Yeah, because TRK and Nupo are queuing together, but Swaz and Nico, who is going to get a reset and almost fake it as he flicks it down, did not, queue up to this game together. Doesn't mean they can't use some slightly more advanced kickoff strategies. It's just not something you see as often as Nico now will get a great possession at ceiling height, and a non-believer was at Nupo, whoever it was, challenged so much lower than Nico ended up taking the ball. And Nico gonna make it 5-4. I say non-believer because they clearly thought Nico couldn't keep it up there, but he very much did as Nupo went on target. Credit to Swaz for making a save. Nico missing here, but Swaz does get it and puts it on target. That actually might have been credited to Nico. So despite the fact we're highlighting, some solid play from Nico, I feel like I've seen something that maybe needs to be worked on just by the couple replays we grabbed. Seems like the back wall defense coming off to make clears and make reads hasn't been the best. This one a little bit simpler for him, and he will handle it easily. Now gets bumped. Oh my, actually floated. He kept his flip off the bump from Nupo, who launched him into the air and then flipped into the clear. I say clear, it wasn't much of a clear because it quickly ends up being a goal for the orange team anyways, but still pretty impressive, bit of mechanics considering the fact that he did get bumped, which really should have just meant that he was completely out of the play and would not have helped at all. As Nupo reversing back on the ball. Nico is in a really tough spot here with 0 boost, but does manage to get a pretty hefty pop and now has 100 to work with and will get 50 out of his mind by Mr. TRK. Now Nupo's chasing down his teammate, so it might just be Nico and net. No, credit to Swaz for surviving long enough to get that interception. And now a lost flick from Nico. Swaz, great speed here late in the game. Nupo's chasing him down. Nupo has gotten quite bumpy here at the end, and Nico has managed to survive. Little half flip, long shots. This is going to be one more possession, I would imagine, for the orange team. They're going to have to stop if they want to hold it down here and not have it go to OT. Swaz intercepts Nupo, and Nico drops it straight to the ground. So a couple of high-profile ranked game wins from Nico. I thought we'd go ahead and check him out because I have a feeling 16 years old, playing in Europe, making main events, doing well. It seems like we're going to hear about Nico for a long time. And just remember, you may have heard about him here first.